Ashleigh, if I come to you first of all, am I right to say you have raced Singapore before, haven't you?
Yeah, I've
Not
been to
this
Singapore
course,
before.
but...
No, I was here a few years ago for some short Super League racing, and then probably 10 to 12 years ago, I did some racing here as a junior. It's quite common for Australians to come up and race in Asia when we're young, so pretty familiar with the surroundings.
Thoughts on the course, the event, the occasion that we've got ahead this weekend, the Asian Open?
Yeah, so like I just mentioned, it's nice to be back in Asia finally. I feel like Australia and Asia have quite a close connection, so it's nice to be back, and it's definitely always challenging racing in conditions like this especially, but I feel like the Singaporeans are always so welcoming and so lovely, so it always, for me, I always feel really happy here, and the pre-race vibes are always really good, so it's a tough test racing, but I always feel really excited and feel the positive energy from everyone.
Lucy, nice to have you with us as well. How are your pre-race vibes? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I've never been to Singapore before, but the vibes are definitely really good. The city is absolutely amazing. I was lucky enough to do a run yesterday morning with Amazon. They took me on a little tour of the run course, which was super fun. Already very hot, even in the early morning, but I've been training out in Lanzarote a bit. We've had a bit of a heat wave there, so I'm hoping that's going to help me a little bit. And I raced a tiny bit in the Middle East before, and obviously in Hawaii most of the time it's very hot and humid, so I'm hoping that's going to pay off a little bit.
Do you have to tweak things because of the heat and humidity? How do you prepare in order to be your very best in these conditions?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I come from the UK where it's not renowned for being very hot and humid. It's definitely wet with rain, but usually cold. So my preparation does change quite a bit. But like I said, I've been quite lucky in Lanzarote. The heat has been quite intense. I've been trying to train at the hottest point of the day and go very hard. So I've been trying to get used to how uncomfortable that is going to feel on the race on Saturday.
Good on you. Sam, if I can come on to you, we're going to talk racing in a moment, but first of all, congratulations. As a new dad, you've probably got about 5 years of jet lag now with night feeds, etc. So hopefully you're well prepped and ready to go, but how is it all going as a new dad?
Yeah, I mean, it's been just really incredible. I have been amazed by the community of athletes, of professional triathletes, everyone congratulating me and saying thank you. I think it shows how close-knit of a community we are, and that when we go out and race, we definitely all try and beat each other as hard as we can, but that we're all kind of friends and paying attention to what's going on in each other's personal lives. So that's been really cool to see. And yeah, I mean, for me, it's just, my life is way different now. But I'm taking it all in with a big smile, and I think it's made me so much happier and more grateful to race and giving me more purpose with triathlon.
We saw a heck of a performance from you in Milwaukee. I think it was about 48 hours after you'd taken delivery, is that right? So did you find yourself on that run in particular emotional, running for different things? Is it sort of impacting the athlete you are?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, normally, we're not too happy with 5th place normally, but in that instance, I definitely had the biggest smile I've ever had at the finish line, and I reckon I was at, maybe 75-80% of my top physical capabilities, but I think I got 110% of myself that day. I was able to find another level to push myself, and the crowds of all the PTO races, the crowds at that race were just phenomenal. I mean, people were going nuts, and so I just kind of rode on that, and then once I finished, normally I like to go out and party a bit after the race, and I finished and I was like, oh man, I am so tired. I just gotta lie in bed.
Quite right. Well, so get used to it as well. I'm afraid that the party days may be behind you on the back end. Gustav, it's lovely to have you back with us as well at a PTO event. I think I might say last time out was Top Deck in Edmonton. Is that right? Last year?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. How are you? How much are you looking forward to this weekend and being back amongst the great and the good that we have here?
I said earlier that I'm ready to race, but I don't think I'm ready to perform. My training's been so-so, and my personal life has been so-so, but it's very good to be back, and as Sam said, we all are part of the other's personal life, so it's cool to be part or back with a gang again.
I was going to say, you mentioned you've obviously had a hell of a year of it, and it's lovely to have you here. Are you just excited about getting back to the start line and then seeing what happens, or are you talking to yourself about particular goals when you race on Sunday?
It's very difficult to set goals because I have no idea where I'm at, or I know where I am, but I don't know where the others are. So we have in our training squad a lot of data, and the data is good when things are going good. But when things are not going that good, I have a lot of data that show I'm not where I want to be. But I hope to surprise myself a little bit on race day and maybe perform better than I think I can at the moment. But yeah, it's good to be back here come here to Singapore, and I really love the heat and humidity. So maybe that can play into my advantage, but we'll see on race day.
We shall see. Have you watched events in Ibiza and Milwaukee? Have you felt a bit of an itch to get back again?
Milwaukee was at night when I was in training camp, but I woke up and then I saw the live timing. And yeah, I was thinking, okay, there's something wrong with the timing, because Christian was suddenly just so far behind, and then he's kept on losing, and then suddenly was running faster and slower, and I thought it was a timing issue, but I couldn't see the live stream because I wanted to sleep, so I was not supposed to be awake, so I just kind of half watched the timing. But then I had to check, and I saw it with the cramps, and I had to sleep angry. I was so mad at him for not winning. He has been performing so good in training, and for me, he was racing. He said afterwards, no, the bike was easy. I was cramping for a different reason, but he should have won there, and it was just not tactical smart. So yeah, kind of mad watching him race, but I have to get him in shape for this race. He's the winning hope, I think.
Tell me about Christian though, because I think I'm right saying he's got 3 races in 2 continents over 10 days.
Yeah, he's starting now in 2 hours and 57 minutes.
Right.
And
actually, I've got his details down. So
he's soon starting the test event in Paris.
So then here, then Finland.
Yeah.
Right. Is that, do you think, can you see exactly why he's doing what he's doing? Or are you going to get angry with him for the itinerary that he's built himself?
I actually planned to do the same myself, but we planned this way back when I was still in shape, and I was like, yeah, let's go. I was so eager to race, but now I was sadly not selected for the test event. So my plan was changed 3 weeks ago, but now I'm kind of glad I'm not really in the fitness to do all the 3 races in 2 weeks. But if anyone can do it, he's the guy. So we'll see. I shouldn't say this, but he didn't unpack his bike since Milwaukee.
Right.
His TT bike. I think he did cramp in Milwaukee because he didn't train enough on the TT bike. So we'll see.
He's not listening to you, that is for sure. I'm sure you'll have something to say about Christian, how he fares on something. What's really interesting though, and you've touched on there, it does seem at the moment, Ash, the 100-kilometre race is packed with drama, and we're seeing it wherever we saw Dallas, obviously the heat last year, and the impact that had, and obviously you were a beneficiary. Ibiza, we had all sorts going on. We had all sorts of drama in Milwaukee as well. Is there a reason why this 100-kilometre course is throwing up such extraordinary storylines? Was that just part of it?
What was the drama in Milwaukee?
Well, I think we had Jason. We had in Milwaukee. We had Christian cramping and stopping at various points. We had Jason coming from nowhere.
Yeah.
We had the wonderful Yao as he finishing first. It just feels like there's some amazing narratives for people to get stuck into.
Yeah, I think racing drama, that's definitely was what was happening a lot in this 100k distance. And obviously it's not nice to see someone like Christian cramping, but it made for an entertaining race, to be completely honest. It was pretty incredible to see that race unfold, and it was actually the first PTO race that I've been able to watch properly, because the women were always, the way it worked out, it was perfect to be able to watch the men go first before we went out on the same race course in Milwaukee and try and learn a bit from them. The racing is super exciting, and I think it's because the distance is still middle distance, but I feel like it's still like an Olympic distance effort, to be honest. That's how I feel like it is. And I think that when you're trying to put your body through that and push that hard, that those kind of things can happen, and you can be in amazing shape, in incredible form, but it can unravel pretty quickly if you kind of keep pushing over that red zone, trying to keep up with the pace. And I think also with all the competitors, male and female, there's so many different athletes that bring different strengths into the race. So there's always pace getting injected at different stages of the race. And if you try and go with absolutely everything, you know, which people do, we love to race, we're very competitive. It makes for entertaining racing, but yeah, it can come back to bite you as an athlete.
Are you seeing and are you getting feedback from fans and the people that follow you and watch this sport about how much they're enjoying what the PTO and the 100K is offering? Do you feel more storylines and drama emerging from these races?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, I think at PTO Milwaukee, like the move to combine it with age group nationals was just incredible. It was the biggest crowd I've seen, certainly on American soil. Sometimes in Europe, you can get crowds like that, but being an American, I've never seen anything like that in a triathlon race, and just people cheering it on and saying how cool it was. And I mean, already I'm hearing, right, as an American, how many people are going to wake up at midnight to watch us race. And yeah, I mean, I can tell you, I never thought Americans would wake up at midnight to watch a triathlon.
That's fantastic. And the same question to you. So are you seeing, I suppose, in everything that you're doing, a growth, an enthusiasm, an increase in I suppose, media and following?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all racing I've ever done has been exciting, but we've never really had the coverage like the PTO are delivering, and people are able to see every part of the race unfold, see the drama happening as it's happening. So as an athlete, that's really exciting for the fans to really understand what is going on when we're racing, just how hard we're pushing it to the limit, and we certainly are. So yeah, it's amazing to be part of this movement, and yeah, I'm excited for the future of triathlon.
Good on you. We certainly are as well. Can I ask each of you just about the race itself? What for you looks like the perfect race tomorrow? How do you need that to go?
I mean, I'd love to have a good swim. I think I need to have my signature swim to get off to a good start. I mean, the water is going to be hot right from the gun. It's like we're swimming in a bath. So I've done, I think, probably one race before where the water is this temperature, and you just kind of, the second you get in the water, it feels like your energy just gets sucked out of you. So I'm hoping I'm not going to feel like that tomorrow. But yeah, I need to have a really solid swim and definitely a strong bike. I'm not quite sure where my run is at off the back of the injury I've had. So yeah, I feel like having a decent gap starting that run up will be essential for me. But I still am confident that I can have a good run. I do enjoy the heat and humidity, but it's going to be a sufferfest out there.
Gosh, good luck to you. Am I right saying it's 2/3 for you, isn't it? Was it in Ibiza and Dallas last year? I think I'm right saying. Do you feel ready that you've done the prep now for top deck? You're just going to see how it goes? Are you setting goals and aspirations?
I haven't set a position goal for this race. I think ultimately I just want to get to the finish line, and if I can put together a good race, I think I'll be happy with that. Like I said, the conditions will have a big impact on what the result is, and if I go too hard, it could be not even finishing. So yeah, we'll just have to see how it goes.
Obviously, you won it twice last year, 2 seconds this time around. A smile, I think, says it all. But do you come in this weekend thinking of the crown and how I want to get it back? Or do you come in just thinking, I know what I need to do, and it's about the process and the timings?
Yeah, I guess I never really set certain goals on position I want to come, but yeah, I've been good at coming second this year, so it would definitely be nice to take the top step again, but it's going to be very difficult with the amount of women here that are motivated to also do the same. It would be great if I could replicate a race like Dallas, but I definitely feel like my fitness and strength is a lot better than last year, but yeah, I just haven't been able to kind of get there to take a win at the PTO race this year. But yeah, I also kind of love these conditions. I know that it's like very, very difficult, but I feel like a lot of the time I'm racing on instinct, and I think that helps in a situation like this where you have to make decisions on race course. And yeah, it'd be nice to get out there and just see what we can do. And I think that if you thought there was drama in Milwaukee, I think there'll be some tomorrow.
Brilliant. So it's worth mentioning, well, you didn't actually feel very well in my beef heading to that start line. Fit and firing, no complaints?
Yeah, no, I'm all good. It's been a really great prep. I think that for me, the big focus this year is, haven't shied away from the fact that the PTO races are my big goals, and Milwaukee and Asian Open, definitely, these are my two big goals of the year. So I definitely hope to be firing on all cylinders tomorrow, and really hope that my fitness shows through.
Brilliant. Gustav, I suppose the question that most of your super fans will want to know is, have you packed a cap?
The cap is with me.
The cap is with you.
Yeah.
Good. So there is hope.
So I think I have 9 wins, 0 second, or non-wins, but 1 DNF win.
Right. Okay.
So pretty insane statistics on that.
So for you going into the race, are you setting goals? Are there various things you want to achieve? Are you just going to get out there and see what happens?
Usually I have very, very specific goals, and I think most people, when they look at my press conference on Instagram, will see a very confident guy. But honestly, I'm not sure if it's confidence or realism, because I just speak exactly what I think I can do. Like going into Kona, I said, I think I will win here, but that's because I honestly thought this is my race to win. And now I can say I think I can achieve a top 10, and it's not like I'm a pessimist or anything, I'm just being very realistic in my achievements. So top 10 would be great.
And are you someone who, once the race begins, you know how you're going to go, or are you someone who has to fight all the way to kind of achieve what it is you want to achieve? You know how it's going to go pretty early?
Triathlon, it's sometimes it's hard to just finish, even though I feel great in the swim.
Yeah.
And I have races where I'm, especially in short distance, where I'm early out of the water. This is my race to lose now, and then on the bike I just fade. So it's a very dynamic sport, and you said with a 100k PTO distance, it's even more dynamic. And I think part of the reason is that people tend to overbike a bit because they are thinking they need a gap on a run or doing some different strategies. I think the PTO distance is not a race where you can say it's over after the swim, or it's going good after the swim. You have to see that kind of later part of the run. So I'm not gonna give up, even though I'm behind Sam on the swim. I will fight until the end.
Good. Okay.
There's the jokes.
And that brings us on to you. For you, what does the perfect race look like for you?
The perfect race, I guess I'll go down a little tangent here myself. I think a few years ago, if you looked at me while we're talking about confidence, I think I was so confident, but maybe not always so real, right? And so if you look at 2021 Worlds, where I was second to Gustav, I think I went into that race feeling very, very confident, but Gustav just absolutely destroyed me, even though I was second. And I think then that next year I went in even more confident into races, thinking okay, if I don't win, Dallas is a great example last year. I went there with the expectation almost to win, and then when I got third, it was almost I felt like I had let myself down. And so since then I've kind of reevaluated, and I think it comes with respect and admiration and maybe even some fear of the competition, right? Gustav has set such a high example, and Christian has set such a high example, and they've been at it for so long, and Jason West is running so fast that I can go out and I can put my best race down, but people are doing truly remarkable things. And so for me, I want to put my best foot forward, and I think if you're top 5 or top 3, that's a great, great race. And of course, if I can sniff the win, then that's just a truly exceptional day.
And what would it mean for you to stand on top step? You're someone who, you've got a huge following, you've obviously been there and done it, but for a top step at a PTO would be what?
I think certainly the dialogue is that it's basically impossible for someone who's not swimming up there to win a big race like this. So, in a way, I'd be doing the impossible, right? And at least that's what everyone makes it sound like. I think it's possible, but I might very well be last out of the water at this race, and so how a triathlon goes, right? I can get out of that water and be oh shit, this is going really bad. Yeah. But it's still a triathlon. We still have to bike, we still have to run, and For me, it's just committing to that process on this swim over a multi-year commitment and a multi-year horizon. I mean, Lucy for sure can tell you don't become good at swimming in 9 years, and I'm only 9 years into swimming, so I still have a long way to go. And yeah, it's just it's going to be a remarkable race. And of course, if I'm at the top, yeah, like I said, it would just it would really confirm to me that everything's working.
The announcement this week between World Triathlon and the PTO, the fact that we are going to have a season-long narrative, the fact that we are now going to have world champions at the end of the campaign. For an athlete, what does that mean to you? What do you make of the alliance?
Yeah, I think the PTO is doing great. I think the biggest difference before between short course and long course, not only the distance, but that long course athletes kind of dodge each other a bit. So if they see the start line, I was like, okay, a good one is racing there. I'd rather go to a lesser known race to get my fame there. But with the PTO pumping in, yeah, a truly insane amount of money and respect into races. So it's it's a great way to show that the long course is actually a real competitive sport, and the level has grown so much. So to really crown a world champion in a worthy series, I think it's amazing.
You collect crowns. Would you like the crown of world champion?
Yeah, I guess it's a huge incentive to have, a season-long narrative, like you said, and to be able to be crowned a world champion, because I think that it really streamlines it a lot, where we can have, like Gustav said, the best people coming together all season long, and even just with, like you mentioned before, like new people following the sport. Like I have people back in Australia that I had no idea that they were interested in triathlon, and they weren't until the PTO has come along. And the fact that they've been able to watch me for 2 years in the PTO Tour that I've done, all of a sudden they're triathlon fans, and their kids are now doing triathlon, and they're out in the street learning to mount their bike and go to swim lessons. And for me, that's really inspiring. And for me, it means a lot to kind of get that feedback, and that's thanks to the PTO and the investment that they've made in actually showcasing the athletes to the world. Because if little kids can see us doing triathlon, they might want to do it too, and they finally realise how great this sport is. So I think that the ability for us to be able to race more at this kind of stage is truly incredible. So I think that lots of athletes will support it, and I hope that the general public will keep on supporting it too, because I feel the momentum building, and it's just been so exciting to be part of that.
Total aside, have you been watching the women's football?
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry about that. Is there a bit of a score to settle? Obviously with the Matildas, the home team going out at the hands of the Lionesses, is there a bit of a score to settle? Because everyone's been building up from the Ashes into the Matildas, into this weekend potentially. Yeah,
like Josh thinks I'm crazy. He's never seen me so fired up, and I'm just watching these soccer players. They've been inspiring our whole nation, and what's happening in Australian sport at the moment for women is really, really inspiring. I haven't seen a movement like this ever before. The Matildas game against England was the most watched sporting event in the history of Australia. So for that to happen, and for young boys and girls and for groups of men to start actually organising to come together to watch women's sport is like, I have this fire in my belly, and I've been so incredibly inspired. So I'm just so happy that I can be a female doing my sport at the moment, and I definitely feel like I said there's so much momentum and feel so much support from Australia too. So I'm really excited to get out there.
That's amazing. The women's Ashes obviously retained, and the women's rugby team are going extremely well. So Lucy, over to you for this weekend, because I think I'm right in saying that if you keep extrapolating it from the Ashes to the football, etc., what have you made, actually as a woman in sport, what have you made of the growth of, I don't know if you've been following the women's football at all, but it does feel right now, right here, that there is a huge, not just in Australia, but across the board, that the time is now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like Ashleigh said, this is the time to be a female in women's sport. It's just incredible to see, and if I can emulate what the Lionesses did and have done over the last year or so in my race, then that would be amazing. But I never really followed football at all, but until the Lionesses came, I actually watched, I think it was their documentary last year, and it was one of the most inspiring things I've ever watched. And I was like, I need to really get into this and start following them, because the stories are just incredible, and what they've done to inspire young women to get into sport and play football and just do any sport is just amazing.
England or Spain, which one would you rather win? The women, the final. You don't care at all. Go on. Something's going to change. Final question to you, Sam. Just in terms of this collaboration between World Triathlon and potentially, I've got one more off the back of this. But how big a moment do you think this is for triathlon with the announcement that was made this week?
Yeah, I mean, I think the announcement's big. What I'm excited about is to kind of get into the nitty-gritty details of how many races, where are they, what's the prize money. To me, the announcement, it's just a teaser, right? It's like you're seeing a little and you want to see more, and I'm looking forward to hearing more and figuring out what it's all about.
The other thing I wanted to ask is that Singapore was the first night race in Formula One. Would it be mad to try and do triathlon with a night race, follow lights in the water? Would you be quite up for something where you're pushing the boundaries, or?
Actually, yeah, I'd be very up for swimming in the dark. I think I'd swim the same as everyone then.
Fantastic. We'll see if we can get that organised. Listen, it's going to be an amazing weekend, and it's very good of you to come and spend your time with us, so thank you very much. There's a lot to go on. Will you finish please with a huge round of applause to Ashleigh, to Gustav, to Lucy, and to Sam? Thank you very much indeed. Good luck.